utilized effectively to achieve organizational goals while minimizing cost. Another benefit is quality improvement, which is done by identifying inefficiencies and bottlenecks in the process. Costs are also reduced by optimizing processes and resource allocation. OR was first seen in the World War II in solving military logistics and operational problems. Ever since then, OR methodologies have been integrated into many industries and the regular work operations. Some examples of such fields are manufacturing, healthcare, and finance. Along with these benefits that OR provides, there are also some limitations that come with it. I'll continue this presentation by discussing them. While OR has proved to be a valuable tool in various industries, it also has some limitations. These limitations emerge from both the nature of the field and from complexities in the real world. I will first discuss that why there are limitations in operations research and then continue to discuss what these limitations actually are individually. I will now discuss some reasons of limitations in OR. First of all is assumption of linearity. In real life, numerous situations involve nonlinear relationships, and linear approximations may not accurately represent the complexities of the problem. But to simplify the problem, OR assumes linear relationship between variables. Next is complexity of real-world problems. With numerous interconnected variables and dynamic relationships, OR model may struggle to capture fully the complexity of these situations and may oversimplify the problem. Next is the dynamic nature of problems. Real-world problems are bound to change over time with environmental changes. Due to these changes, which may be quick, OR models may not easily adapt to these changes. Last but not the least is resource and time constraints. Due to dynamic conditions and rapidly changing conditions, OR models may face limitations in terms of resources and time and may impose restrictions on achieving its best capacity. I will now give an overview of the limitations before discussing each one of them in detail. First is that OR does not take into account qualitative or emotional factors, but only those factors which can be quantified and have numbers associated with it. OR models cannot be applied to each and every problem, but to only a specific category of them. As I discussed earlier about the complexities involved in the factors of a problem, establishing relationships between them involve huge calculations which require time and resources. Next is that employees usually restrict to new proposals, and there is also resistance seen from the management side of any organization. Last is that many young enthusiasts misunderstand operation research and don't realize that OR is meant for us and not that the opposite of it. I will now discuss each factor in detail. Let's begin with the fact that OR models don't take into account qualitative or emotional factors, but only those factors which can be mathematically expressed in numbers, since they are used in mathematical modeling and analysis techniques. OR models take into account variables such as cost, production levels, number of resources of machinery available, etc. All of these factors have numbers associated with them. From the mathematical point of view, qualitative factors are difficult to express in numbers as it does not have a measurable criteria. Examples of such factors are customer satisfaction, employee morale, etc. Additionally, some emotional elements, such as human emotions and perceptions, which are quite crucial as the whole experiences, are also neglected in this process. Such emotions impact the success of changes, but there is no place for them in OR models. To address this issue, OR models are integrating qualitative methods to improve the decision-making process and taking into account all factors that may impact a problem. Another limitation is that OR being applied to only a category of problem. This goes back to when OR models were developed during the World War II, especially for military use. The British and American military used OR methodologies for logistical and operational challenges, such as troop deployment, to name one. For resource optimization, linear programming was used and was applied to transportation as well. Since the early use of OR revolved around military use, the techniques developed were applied on military aspects only, with little to no use of OR in other domains. But as time progressed, the use of OR was seen in other domains too, which involved decision making in both public and private sectors. Next is that establishing relationships among factors involve huge calculations. Operation research fundamentals are based on finding the optimal solution to a problem, which is achieved by considering all factors and exploring their relationships. The problems we encounter today involve numerous factors, and the process of finding its solution require huge calculations as they are interlinked with each other, mostly in a complex manner. Such calculations are dependent on the availability of resources and the time within which the problem has to be solved. With many constraints and variables, we need computer machines that can handle it too. An organization would need resources of excellent conditions, such as advanced hardware and software capabilities, to efficiently compute the results. Time is also another important factor since for dynamic conditions and instances when quick responses are needed, huge calculations may impose hindrances on it and may delay the results we receive. The accuracy of the solution of the problem may also be questioned when so many variables and constraints are involved, including that they also burdenize the resources of the organization. User expertise is also important as an expert is required to model, design the algorithm, and interpret its results. When there is no proper expertise, OR methodologies can be difficult to apply. The fourth factor of limitation is resistance of employees, meaning that people working in the organization hesitate with OR. The main reason for this is unfamiliarity with OR, since employees do not understand the methodologies and benefits of OR and how it can improve decisions. It may also be possible that employees do not understand OR models and see it as a very complex thing, which makes them hesitant to use it. Also, due to technological advancements, many processes are being automated, and employees see this automation as a threat to their job and think that it can replace them and the work they do. Communicating the benefits of OR is vital to help with the resistance, as OR majorly improves the decision making process and serves as a benefit to employees and the organization itself. Just like I previously discussed how employees resist to OR proposals, similarly, there is also some resistance from the management side. Since people are working on traditional and conventional methods for a long time, they grow comfortable with it and gain command over it. They find it uncomfortable switching to OR practices and change their course of work they have been working on for a very long time. They might also think of OR as a risk to divert to since its implementation would be new as opposed to methods they have tried and tested, which leads to resistance. Moreover, if OR practices are not understandable by management, they will avoid adopting it and work on the practices that they find comparatively easier to. To avoid this, management must understand the long term results of OR and how it improves the process. The last limitation that I will discuss is that OR is meant for men and not that men are meant for OR. The advantages OR gives due to its qualitative and analytical strengths and exactness may overtake young enthusiasts who prioritize technology over human-centric needs, along with organizational and ethical factors. We should realize that OR is meant to serve us and not the opposite, because if we do not, it may not align with human or organizational needs, which will be of no use then. It should also be realized that OR has to be adapted according to human needs, else it would lead to impractical solutions and may result in consequences that are not favorable to us or the organization. To summarize, each methodology has its benefits and limitations, which are important to realize. OR provides valuable insights and optimal solutions, but do come with some limitations that I discussed in this presentation. To make wise decisions that benefits both us humans and the organization, it is important to understand these limitations and use them to serve to our maximum benefit. We must recognize the boundaries and